Hello and welcome to Rev Sports and Hira. Joining me today is Boria Mujumdar, Shomik Chakravarti, and Bharat Ramraj. Well, where do we start? So many things to look back on, so many things to analyze and take stock of because India have lost two test matches on the trot against New Zealand and in a fashion that we did not want to see. New Zealand have won the match by 113 runs. But Boria sir, starting with you, if I were to ask you, what is the biggest technical mistake that was made in this match? I'm sure there are more than one, but what is the biggest one? What do you think?
First and foremost, you said what is the biggest one? The biggest one is the wicket. The management got it completely wrong in Bengaluru. The management got it wrong in Pune. The moment you prepare a turner, you are actually nullifying your quality spinners. All of a sudden, modest spinners like Mitchell Santner become the great of the world. Mitchell Santner did not have a single 5 wicket haul. And look at what happened here, 14 wickets in the match. Mitchell Santner had what, 197 runs in Gaul with 1 wicket or something like that against Sri Lanka. Whatever it is, Mitchell Santner is not a great of test match cricket. We made him look great. Why? We have done this in the past with England in 2012. Monty Panesar comes and spins us in Mumbai. We have done this in 2017 with Australia in Pune when Steve O'Keefe took it over. We have done this multiple times in the past, and for some reason, we don't want to learn from our mistakes. We we don't place spin well. Accept it once and for all. The current generation of Indian batters, you just flashed a graph. If we have one of those where you showed the statistics of the current Indian batters against spin in the last 2 years, Virat has 30, Rohit has 30 in terms of average in some 25 or 30 innings. And that tells you the story. The story is right out there. You don't play spin well and you create a turner. You created I mean, in Bengaluru, for whatever reason, you batted first. So if you actually think from the management perspective, it has been a shocker of a series from both Rohit Sharma and Gautam Gambhir. Now, before you go to Bharat and Shomik, look, I mean, for the longest time, we have not asked the right questions. And it is time to ask. Yes, with the roller, you got a couple of hours today, and Yashasvi Jaiswal played excellent. But tell me, what run was it with Rishabh Pant? What was he running for? First, he hesitates. Then he goes. The ball is in Santner's throwing arm. Rishabh Pant was your key along with Yashasvi Jaiswal, not Rohit, not Kohli. Neither Rohit nor Kohli are at their prime anymore. They're past their prime, and that is evident. See that Akashdeep dismissal. I know you might say he's the 10th wicket or the ninth wicket, whatever it is. But that is completely lack of common sense. I mean, why would you play that shot? You have to put a price on your wicket every single player, right? Ravindra Jadeja was showing him the whole ground. The fellow hits him completely, and before that, he was running like a madman 2 balls before when the ball went for to third man. This was one of those performances, Gargi. I mean, the truth is, we turn up. Yesterday, all of us knew this. Shomik said it on the show, you said it, I said it, except Rohit Juglan, all of us called it. But somewhere you must think there was this little ray of optimism, of hope that no, someone will put his hand up, someone will create a miracle knock, someone will do something special as Indian sports fans and analysts. Unfortunately, this team is not good enough to do that. And it is time to accept and also ask the hard questions.
Absolutely. Shomik, apart from that, let's go back to the last match as well. The decision that was taken after the toss, clearly there's something wrong with the technical decisions that are being taken. Your thoughts?
I mean, India have been strategically, tactically outsmarted in this series big time. And I think it's time Rohit and Gautam Gambhir should own up the responsibility. In the sense, see, I mean, first of all, in Bangalore, after winning the toss and choosing to bat first, it was nice. It was courageous of Rohit to come to the press conference and owning up his mistake. That is fine. But even after that, even we discussed this during our lunch show, right? That not when in the first test, the turning point of the game was the partnership between Team Saudi and Rachin Ravindra. when India didn't use his best bowler, Jasprit Bumrah, number one. Then, I mean, and also going beyond the strategy and tactics, this sort of collapses have been becoming a pattern now. If we see this series, 46 all out, 57 for 4, in between there was 403 for 3, after that 54 for 7, then in the first innings, 157, then in the second innings. So, 4 consecutive collapses, right? This has been becoming a pattern now. Coming back to the strategy and tactical part, this game also, after India, I mean, bowled first in this game, for the first 2 hours, New Zealand came with a definite plan against Indian spinners. They were not afraid to go over the top. They tried to upset India's plans, and India readily went on the defensive. Even yesterday, after conceding a big first innings lead, India didn't start off with Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, what was the thinking? When you have Bumrah, irrespective of the conditions, you start off with your best bowler, and your two senior spinners have bowled darts in this series. They are absolutely reaching the twilight zone, and I and see, I will not be surprised in 2011. Some big careers ended in Australia. Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, some big careers ended in Australia. And I will not be surprised if some careers end in the upcoming tour of Australia as well. Strategically, Rohit's captaincy was very ordinary. He was schooled by Tom Latham, and he didn't get that much of a support apparently from the dugout. And I seriously miss Ravi Bhai's tactical acumen from the dugout.
Bharat, there's a very good question here by Asim Hans. He's asking, is the aggressive batting approach a sign of confidence or of desperation since they don't have the temperament and the skill to stay at the crease? Is there any accountability?
Yeah, see, first of all, if you want to play with a little bit of caution, then you have to show good defense. I don't think a lot of modern day Indian batters have that kind of defense to play that kind of a game for long periods. I think that is why they kind of show that kind of aggressive approach. Because if you look at, say, Safraz Khan, I have watched a lot of him in the Ranji Trophy. He's not someone who can play for long periods defensively. He has to attack. So I think that that is one of the reasons why modern day Indian batters look to play aggressively because they don't have enough trust in their defense to play for long periods. So that's a problem, but that is how these guys play. Another reason is, see, you go back to domestic cricket. What I see is a lot of tracks in Ranji Trophy have grass, and they tend to stay low. And then you go to the IPL, they don't get to play on turning tracks, so they don't have that muscle memory to play on turning tracks, to trust their defense, and then to play shots. So suddenly they're up against a turning track. I don't think they have that muscle memory, or they don't have that defense or technique to play in that fashion. That is why they play aggressively.
Atreyu has joined us from Pune. He's watched the match. Atreyu, what are your impressions of this game? Where did India go wrong? What are the biggest points to talk about here?
See, I'm sorry, I'm joining a bit late, but if you ask me, I think the turning point was preparing this pitch because India didn't need a rank turner or a turning wicket to draw level in the series. When you do that, you reduce the gap between the teams. The difference between the teams becomes less than what it actually is. We have seen in the earlier this year, when during the England series, which India won 4-1 after losing the first test, that they played on normal wickets, normal pitches, and the better team prevailed. Over here, by preparing a turning pitch, I think India played into the hands of the New Zealanders because Indian batting is a little bit suspect against the turning ball on turning pitches, and by doing that, they possibly undermined the strength of the New Zealanders and overestimated themselves. So I think that is what the difference was in this test, and we have seen this in the past. In Australia, against Australia in 2017, at the same venue, the same thing happened. So India possibly missed a trick by preparing a turning pitch, which instead of working against New Zealand, worked against their own players. That's
Agni, okay, he hasn't joined us yet, but Boria, a lot of questions on Rohit Sharma are now being asked. People are asking if Rohit and Virat both are a liability to the team after being, match winners for the team for so long. Is it time to let them go?
First things first, both have been selected as part of the Australia team, which has been announced yesterday, and Rohit Sharma happens to be your captain. So the question of letting them go doesn't arise in the next 3 months. That is a given. But are they past their prime? Yes. I mean, the statistic clearly said that they are. If both of your best batters have average of 30 against spin on home conditions for a period, and it is not about 2 or 3 innings, it is about 20 plus innings. 20 plus innings. I don't know if you have that graph. Can you put it on screen? Because there it is. 12 innings. Here, Virat Kohli has an average. This is 2 years. If you take it 4 years, the statistic stays the same. Virat Kohli has an average of 30 odd for 20 odd innings. Rohit Sharma has an average of 32 or so of 20 odd innings or 25 odd innings. So clearly, as you can see, Gargi, if two of your best batters have average of 30 plus or in a 32, 33, 34, and Shubman Gill, who is touted your best batter. By the way, this is 2 years. And look at the Rishabh Pants of the world, the Yashasvi Jaiswals of the world. Sarfaraz Khan, it is not fair. It is not fair with 8 innings. So at this point in time, clearly Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. If you take the two of them, the two big boys, and you ask that question, the elephant in the room question, Gargi, the answer is a flat yes. Both of them are past their prime. Both of them are inconsistent. Both of them are no longer the players that they used to be. The problem is we glamorize our superstars and make them demigods. The moment you ask questions, you will be hammered on social media. If you ask of Rohit, the Viratians will come and say, Are, now what is going on? And vice versa. Yesterday, also, when I said something about the Virat dismissal, which was pathetic yesterday, by the way, absolutely pathetic. Somebody came and said, and not one, many, that you are not asking about Rohit's captaincy. For these fellows, it is not about India. It is about either Rohit or Virat, and they are blind, mad people. They're kind of mob. They're trolls. They are mob who are blinded by this kind of crazy fan adulation, whereby they lose their objectivity. As far as we are concerned, both Rohit and Virat, I think, and both Atreo and Shomik made this point yesterday, are in their last legs of test match cricket. This is their last WTC cycle. I don't see them both after the England tour of 2025. Will Australia be their last tour? Could well be, at least for one of them. Rohit has captain, could well be his last. So these are important questions that need asking. Having said that, I still think India will do well in Australia. That is because we can't play spin, and it is given. We don't play spin well. We don't play movement well. But bounce we will be able to handle. In Australia, except Adelaide, which will be day night and Mitchell Stark will kill you, India should be okay. So my hunch is these two fellows will still hold their own in Australia. But if they travel to England in June, July, and India is playing in June when it will be still quite chilly and not the usual summer in July, August, India will be found wanting because we don't play movement. We cannot handle movement. Take Bengaluru. We cannot handle spin. Take Pune. So we are kind of, in between the devil and the deep sea. For whatever reasons, we prepared that track in Bengaluru and we decided to bat first. We killed ourselves. For whatever reasons, we went and did this in Pune and we killed ourselves. So you asked Atreo, what is the biggest problem? The biggest problem is the toss and the track in Pune. The management, for whatever reason, I just don't know. I don't know why we prepared this track in Pune and why we decided to completely nullify Ravi Ashwin. Mitchell Santner, for God's sake, never a 5 wicket haul. 7 times 3 wickets in Test match cricket, becomes the greatest spin bowling or player in New Zealand. 14 wickets. Our problem is we make greats out of modest spinners. Steve O'Keefe, Mitchell Santner, Monty Panesar, etc., 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 and we don't learn our lessons. Good. Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma are real wake-up call ahead of the Border Gavaskar Trophy, and now the last test as well. So smell the coffee and get your act together. Because for the longest time, adulation, adulation, adulation is what has been par for Indian cricket team. Some real tough questions need to be asked, because if you take a look at that batting order, look at it. Rohit Sharma, poor shot. Virat Kohli, he might say umpire's call. The damn thing looked out. Bluntly, it looked out to the naked eye. Simple as that. Take it. Rishabh Pant, suicidal run out. Absolutely suicidal. Anyone who watched Gill's 40 odd balls, each time Mitchell Santner came on to ball, my heart was in my mouth. This guy is not confident enough. If you take except Jaiswal, Sarfaraz Khan playing inside the line, did he look confident to you at any point in time? No. This batting order at every second, Gargi, was looking fragile against spin. And that is the reality. We don't play spin well. So why on earth would you want to prepare a ranked turner and kill yourselves on home soil?
Valid
And
points.
Gargi, one more thing that is very well said, very well said. And I mean, the unfortunate part and the most concerning part, I mean, test match batsmanship in India has been on a decline. I mean, allow me the leeway to go back to the past when after Gavaskar we got a Sachin Tendulkar, who as a 17-year-old saved the test match at Old Trafford. Then came Saurabh Ganguly, Rahul Dravid, who were thrown in at the deep end and stood up to be counted. Where is that defining innings from someone like Shubman Gill, the poster boy of the Indian cricket for the future? Where is that defining innings from the next generation? Well, I mean, I don't see. I mean, Rohit and Virat Kohli, especially, they contributed immensely to the Indian cricket, and they are now walking into a sunset. Now the next generation should stand up to be counted. Where is that next generation to take up that responsibility? Where is the defining innings from a Shubman Gill? Once again, I'll come to Shubman Gill. Well, just as see Jaiswal scoring runs, that is fine. But where are the others? Where are the others? Where are the others? Where is for someone like KL Rahul, who is no longer a youngster? He didn't play this test, but whenever he has been given an opportunity, where is that innings when he will lead from the front? That leadership, that batting leadership, where that has been missing, and that is a big concern.
Yeah. Since we're talking about Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, let's talk about Virat Kohli because we have some stats here. As you can see, Virat Kohli versus left arm spin in the last 2 years: 31 innings, 369 runs, 33.54 average, strike rate is 44.72, and he has been dismissed 11 times. When it comes to right arm off spinners in the last 2 years, 16 innings, 301 runs, 37.62 average, and a strike rate of 48.78. Bharat Atre, I'll go to you first. What are these stats telling you, and are these worrying signs?
One minute,
Yes.
1 minute. Let's take Atreo first. Atreo 33 or whatever against left arm. You don't play leg spin anyway. By the way, we know that you don't play leg spin very well. We've caught up by Adam Zampa and several others. Even against right arm off spin, an average of 37. And this is, by the way, for a period of 2 years, Atreo. Now, if I expand it till 2021, the average doesn't improve. So the average stays 30. When I'm saying I'm taking a 4-year ballpark, your greatest batter has an average of 30 at home against spin. Clearly, that is not the index of great or greatness that we say. I mean, anyone who compares Sachin Tendulkar to anybody in this current generation is a lunatic. Tendulkar's longevity and for the time that he played against Murli, Saklen, Shane Warne, And those Chennai innings, I don't see anyone of this current generation remotely coming close to that. Atra?
Yes, that's a very valid point, Boria, that you make, because when we look back, let's talk about 2 years away from now, or 3 years away from now. When we look at great Indian batters, when we talk about Sachin Tendulkar, when we talk about Sunil Gavaskar, Rahul Dravid, VVS Lakshman, Virendra Sehwag, and when we take into account Virat Kohli, this will be a major blotch in his career record. That against spin, he was consistently vulnerable, and this is something that will stick to his records. I mean, like his good deeds, like his some fabulous performances. This will also be remembered that he didn't fare well against spin. So this is something that I actually I am not exactly in a position to explain why this happens, but I can say that with conviction that when we take into account I mean, the final settlement of where Virat Kohli stands vis-a-vis other Indian great batters, this will be a black mark against his name that he couldn't really master spin even in Indian conditions. So and all the names that we have mentioned, those who batters of the they were masters against spin bowling in these conditions. So this is when we evaluate Virat Kohli, we'll remember his greatness, and at the same time, we will also mention that this record that he wasn't very comfortable against spin in Indian conditions. So that is not exactly a very a hallmark of a great player. He's a good player. I mean, no doubt about it. I mean, he's possibly among the best of his generation. But this is something that will go against him in the long run.
I entirely endorse what Atreo says. Just to take from Gargi and ask Bharat a different question: Is it the start of the end of Ashwin and Jadeja in home conditions, Bharat? For a decade, we have seen the duo dominate. After 2011-12, Ravi Ashwin, Ravindra Jadeja, job done. For the longest time, we have seen them dominate. Are we sort of jumping the gun, or are you seeing Ashwin and Ravindra Jadeja coming to an end of two glorious careers? Or was it the wicket that kind of made the New Zealand spinners more potent? Your thoughts?
Yeah, obviously they are at the back end of their respective careers. Maybe they will play for one more year. You never know. One wants to remember that India have a lot of left arm spinners coming through the ranks. So they can kind of replace Ravindra Jadeja, at least in Indian conditions. Just one more point to add about New Zealand spinner. See, Mitchell Sandner, one of his greatest strengths was it just slowed it up a little bit in the air and allowed the ball to turn. I think that has been one of the key points of how Mitchell Sandner has gone about bowling in these conditions, which unfortunately Indian spinners couldn't do. If you look at Ashwin or if you look at Jadeja at their pace, the pace at which they were bowling, it was over 90 kilometers per hour most of the times. Even if you look at their average speeds, it was much quicker than someone like Mitchell Sandner, which kind of is a little bit confusing because these two spinners are so experienced. You kind of feel that they will gauge the conditions very quickly, but they couldn't. And Mitchell Sandner was the one who really gauged the conditions well, and that is why he took a lot of those wickets. Yeah, I guess so that they're at the back end of their respective careers. Maybe they will play for one more year in home conditions, and then we will kind of see them just hang their spike boots and retire.
I have a question on this.
So,
That who
yeah,
do you
yeah,
think are the
Atreo.
other possible replacements? I mean, who do we think are the possible spin replacements? Who are the players who are doing well? Who are the spinners who are doing well in the domestic circuit?
Yeah, India
See,
domestic cricket has a lot of left-arm spinners. Manav Sutar is there. Obviously, Saurabh Kumar is a veteran. He has been around for so long. At least on Indian pitches, this kind of spinners, Sai Kishore. On a turning track, they might do well. And someone like Washington Sundar, obviously, we have seen here in Pune. He's a different kind of spinner to Ashwin. Imparts a lot of overspin to Ashwin's side spin, but he took a lot of wickets and he could come into the equation not just in Indian conditions, somewhere away from home because of his ability to impart overspin and get bounce. So these are the kind of spinners who are around. Obviously, Kuldeep Yadav also will be around. Yeah, he has had injury problems, but he gives India that attacking option. So I think at least in Indian conditions, India have left arm spinners, and suddenly from nowhere, Washington Sundar, I think he's improved beyond recognition. He's not even half this good when I saw him when I saw him a few months ago or some months ago. Suddenly he's imparting overspin and getting this kind of bounce. He's a different kind of bowler. So Washington Sundar definitely will come into the equation in the near future as well. The way he's bowled in Pune.
Yeah,
You know,
that is the
I would
problem.
also add Akshar Patel into the mix because Akshar Patel can be a like for Ravindra Jadeja, and sort of so Akshar Patel is a possible option as well. I also think Tanush Kotian is a possibility
Yes.
because domestic cricket has played well. Tanush Kotian and Tanush Kotian is somebody who is a decent batter. So I think right arm off break, decent enough
Buria,
batter.
most
Washington Sundar.
importantly, Buria, most
Yeah,
importantly, Tanush Kotian at the moment is the only off-spin bowling option. When we talk about spin resources, the names that we get, the names that Bharat rightly mentioned, like Manav Sukar, Sai Kishore, Saurav Kumar, all of them are left-arm spinners. Off-spinners, we don't have many. So Tanush Kotian is probably the only one at the moment who looks some sort of slightly promising. So our spin resources are not that great at the moment. I mean, we must
I
acknowledge
agree.
that as well.
I absolutely agree, and that is why when Bharat mentioned the left armers, that's why I added the name of Akshar Patel there because for Ravindra Jadeja on a wicket like this, Akshar Patel can sort of really put it there and hit the ground with the puff of dust and can work magic. So left arm spinners, but off spin, yes. And even Kuldeep Yadav with his repeated injury concerns is becoming a bit of a concern as well. But you are absolutely correct when we look at our spin bowling options. The options don't look great, and I think domestic wickets are to be blamed. I think the IPL is to be blamed because these guys don't get enough there. I mean, people now want Dulip Trophy wickets to be different. People want Ranji Trophy wickets to be different. People want IPL wickets to are obviously rubbish. So clearly, we are talking about a very different kind of cricketers coming through the ranks at this point. Otherwise, why is it that there is not one guy who plays spin well? Sarfaraz Khan is supposedly a good player against spin. Plays at no point in time did he look in. The first innings, childish shot to deep mid off. Here playing inside the line, getting bowled. He doesn't look great against the new ball. Last test match, after the second new ball was taken, this time round doesn't look great against spin. So while we celebrate people, I also think we have to be kind of measured. Sarfaraz
Right.
Khan against Australia in Australia ahead of KL Rahul. Boss, I have my serious doubts and fingers crossed for Sarfaraz Khan. Uh, Abhimanyu Ishwaran gotten his opportunity. We haven't seen him perform at the international level, so maybe I'm unfair in saying what I have. But whatever I have watched of Abhimanyu Ishwaran on tracks that do a bit, including the Ranji Trophy final, I don't get much confidence. So when I look at that Indian batting lineup in Australia, I am not very confident when we think of Adelaide and the pink ball and a Mitchell Stark and a Pat Cummins and Josh Hazelwood. Melbourne and Sydney, I'm okay because by that time India would be okay. India would be there in Australia for a while, and these fellows play bounce well. Laterally, they'll be fine. The punts of the world and Jaiswals of the world will handle it. But overall, I'm. This is a team in transition. I think we must accept this is a team in transition. Atrev made this very valid point about spin. I also think the Rohit Virats of the world are past their prime. This is like going back to 2011-12. Harbhajan missing out. Kumble washed gone in 28. Saurav in 28. Rahul, Sachin, Lakshman in 12, 13, 14. This is like that era when a lot of Indian players will be. Shomik made this point at the start of the show. Will be faded out over the next year or year and a half.
Yeah, we'll just add a point if it's fine with Sarfraz Khan. I think Sarfraz's greatest strength is his shots. is whatever I watched of Safras in Ranji Trophy. I don't think he has much of a technique. The incoming ball, he doesn't have much of a technique. When it comes to spin as well, it's mainly about shots. So if you want a player who can fluster the opponent with shots, then he's the one. But when it comes to defense, I think he has problems both against seam as well as spin bowling, and we saw a little bit of example of it in this Pune test, and as well even in the previous test we saw a small example of it.
Yeah, Bharat. So if that is the case, the point that Atro made in our group, that when you have a Pat Cummins, a Mitchell Stark, and a Hazelwood come at you on tracks like those, what will these shots do? How many of these shots will
Yeah,
work for
that's
you? How many? We don't know. We don't know. So, but does it inspire confidence? These
no.
kind of shots in Australian conditions, it
Yeah.
doesn't. It genuinely doesn't. Shovik, you wanted to make a point.
Yeah, I mean, talking about the batsman, basically, you mentioned about our batting and how it does inspire confidence in Australian conditions. And I would like to go beyond Australia. First, to start with Sarfraz, in this test, he was like a rabbit caught in the headlights. First test, in the previous test, he came there as somewhat an unknown quantity to the QS. This test match, Tom Latham just blocked his scoring areas. He didn't allow him to score runs through his sweep shots, forced him to play on the offside, forced him to look for his runs on the offside, and on both occasions, he fell prey to that trap. He didn't have a plan B. He didn't have a plan B. He fell prey to the trap. And beyond Australia and beyond, like we don't have an off spinner to speak of after Ashwin. Do we have the batsman? Jasasi is there. Shubman is Shubman basically scores his runs in the second innings, and then from the youngsters, Sai Sudarshan is someone who inspires confidence. But beyond that, who? Beyond in the top order. I'm not going into the Rishabh Pant's territory, but in the top order, beyond that, Rohit and Virat will walk into a golden sunset. But after them, who? Who is the next? Who in the next generation? Who are the batters we can bank on in Test cricket? Or is it like we will gradually lose interest in Test cricket? Now until Virat and Rohit, they put a price, they put a serious value on Test cricket. Do the current generation of players value Test cricket that much? That is the question.
I might sound a little stupid here, Shomik, but I think I speak here for Atro, yourself, me, Bharatan, and everyone. If you don't put Test cricket as important, then you are not even a cricketer. I don't care how many
Exactly.
IPL runs you get. IPL for me is a highlights package. It's bogus. IPL can
It's
be any amount of money. I don't care. All this
or you can go.
franchise rubbish. You
It's a three
cannot be
or
a great. Shomik, you cannot be a great unless you are a good test match player. Simple as that. You
Absolutely.
cannot be a great unless you play test match cricket at its very best, even ODIs. But T20s, if you think I will play T20 cricket and I'm the greatest of all time, then you've lost the plot, boss. So if India doesn't put and it's good to see, by the way, the Indian administrators, Jai and people, they put a lot of primacy on Test cricket. It's not as if they don't. So let's not blame the BCCI. The BCCI is doing its bit. The BCCI is indeed doing its bit for Test match cricket. ICC is doing its bit for Test match cricket. The WTC has given Test match cricket context. I think this World Test Championship is fantastic for the Test match arena and the Test match format. So I think everyone is. So you must smell the coffee. And if you don't want to value Test match cricket, then you've lost the plot. You might make enormous amounts of money. We don't care. Because after a point, what happens with money is you are only adding zeros to your bank balance. You will never be able to even enjoy it. So forget the money. You can earn any 25 crores per year. Who cares? But will you be a legend of the game like a Tendulkar or a Dravid or a Ganguly or a Lakshman or a Kohli or a Sharma? No, you won't. You will not be a legend of the sport unless you are a test match great. And Jasprit Bumrah, for example, has earned that through his test match bowling. Look at Australia 2018. Why is Bumrah so good? Why is Shami so good? England, Australia, they have not earned it with their IPL caps and their IPL wickets, I'm sorry to say. So Test cricket remains what it is, and Border Gavaskar Trophy will be watched maximum by fans across the globe. Let's close this show with comments from everyone. I'll go to Atreo first. Atreo, Mumbai still left. If you were in the hot seat, what would be your first kind of post-mortem? At 5 o'clock, exactly 25 minutes from now, we will come back with this question on Rohit Virat on spin. But for the moment, Atreo, 1 minute to you, 1 minute to everyone. What is going to be your first post-mortem if you were in the hot seat?
Preparing pitches like this, because you didn't need a pitch like this to win against New Zealand or against any team. You play to your strength. You don't compromise your strength. By preparing a pitch like this, you basically negated your own strength, which is batting. And spinners on turning pitches from both sides will be similar, with little bit of difference here and there. So that was going to be there. By preparing this kind of a pitch, you negated the strength of our batters, of your own batters, and made the game more even than it was before the game started. That's where I rest my case.
Gargi, your thoughts, and by the way, 5 p.m. let us also have our stats ready of the WTC cycle. Where are we? Clearly now India versus Australia doesn't look the final that it will happen. One of these teams might make it, whoever wins BGT, but other teams have brought back into, are all back in contention. So Gargi, your thoughts, if you were in the hot seat for Mumbai, what would you do?
I think a hard reset at this point of the approach that the Indian batters are taking. It's not as if the Indian batters aren't capable of batting long or aren't capable of defending, but right now it just needs to be there needs to be some tactical decisions that need to be changed at this point, because clearly it's not working. Whatever's happening, whatever tactical decisions are being made behind the scenes are not working for India. So whatever those are, change the approach at this point, because it's not working. We've seen that in the past few test matches. Clearly we're not at our best right now.
Bharat, your thoughts before I give Shomik the last word?
Yeah, I kind of beg to differ about India's young batters. I don't think they have the defense to play for long hours. Whatever I've seen of them in Ranji Trophy, so somewhere it goes back to, I think India have to look beyond this Test series, because I go back to that particular point. If you look at some of the tracks in the Ranji Trophy, they have grass. They tend to stay low. I don't think it's helping anyone. Whatever I've seen, it's not helping the medium pacers as well, because the conditions somewhere in Sena countries are different. It's not helping the batters as well to improve their game. And if you look at the IPL, most of the pitches are flat. So I don't think the young Indian batters get the chance to play on turners. That is why whenever they come up on this kind of tracks, they can't defend, and they try to play shots and get out. So I think it has to be more than just this Test series. Indian domestic cricket has to be looked at. The kind of pitches that are prepared, and that might help the youngsters to improve their game against the turning ball.
Okay. Shomik, final thoughts from you. Clearly, Gautam Gambhir as coach and Rohit Sharma as captain are both under the scanner, and rightfully so. Gautam Gambhir became head coach on the back of an IPL triumph, but Test match cricket is different. Gautam's greatest Test match knock was that 137, and clearly, from what we are seeing, his boys, no one is even remotely close to be able to do what he did. So Gautam and Rohit both under the scanner with serious questions asked. Shomik Chakraborty.
Absolutely, they would be, and this is a result business. I mean, if you fail to deliver results, then you will be under the scanner. Both Gautam and Rohit are under the scanner. But see, I might sound a bit bonkers, but this is from long term, looking at long term from Indian cricket's perspective, this is a very good result. The Indian cricket team has been riding their high horses, especially after the T20 World Cup. They needed to be brought down to earth. Some of the players needed to face the mirror. This series has done that, and there will be. I hope there will be a shake-up. This is a seismic result. Losing a Test series. I mean, at some point you are going to lose that record of your home dominance. But losing a home series to New Zealand that lost 2-0 to Sri Lanka just a fortnight ago, this is a seismic result in terms of Indian cricket. And I hope there will be a shake-up. Not right away, because India will go to Australia to play a 5-test series, and I don't expect India to do well in that series. I think India might get hammered in that series, and after that, I hope there will be a shake-up.
If it's fine, I'll just add one
Yeah.
small point I couldn't add. India also have to look at their tactical blunders even more so. The first test, it was a damp wicket in Bangalore. If it had rained cats and dogs, pots and pans for a few days, then it obviously there would be moisture and it would be a damp wicket. To go and bat first in these conditions, it just made absolutely no sense. 20 out of 20 times you would bowl first in those conditions. This kind of tactical blunders going ahead, if they make it during the tour of Australia, then it would be a real catastrophic. It could be a catastrophic tour. So hopefully India would stop making such tactical blunders.
Yeah, that's what we said. All of us said that. I mean, whether it's Bangalore winning the toss and batting first, or whether it's Pune preparing the wicket, was another tactical blunder, as humongous a tactical blunder as perhaps winning the toss. Why would you bring New Zealand spinners into play by doing a wicket like this? Time to end the show, but clearly 20 minutes later, we come back. 5 questions we will be asking. 5 straight questions. One, Rohit and Virat Kohli past their prime? Yes or no? Has India made a blunder by not choosing Cheteshwar Pujara? Question number two. Question number three. Is it time to accept that we are duds against spin? For the longest time, that is now a proven fact. Question number four. Will Border Gavaskar Trophy bring to an end several careers? And is this Indian side still in contention for the WTC final? Question number five. Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma as the management, can they pull it off in Australia? 5 hard questions we will be asking at 5 p.m. at 5 at 5. All of us will join, and no holds back answers. Objective, rational, sharp talk, not sensationalist rubbish, neither cushy cheerleading rubbish that most others peddle. We are not going to go down either route. Simple, straight questions, simple, straight answers. Give us your opinions. Coming back in 18 minutes. Thanks for watching.